Okay, so today I want to talk very, very briefly about reality tunnels. I'm going to give you a very, very brief outline of what a reality tunnel is and why you need to know what it is and why it's useful. The term reality tunnel was coined by Timothy Leary, but it was then popularised by Robert Anton Wilson. Robert Anton Wilson picked the ball up and ran with it. Basically what it means is that we live in selective tunnels of reality, and that these tunnels that we choose are determined unconsciously by our settings about how the external world operates. This is very much rooted in the concept that's very dear to Richard Bandler in NLP and was very dear to Robert Anton Wilson whilst he was still alive, which is Korzybski's idea that the map is not the territory, that we're operating from this map inside our heads about the world that doesn't accurately reflect the world. So your reality tunnel is determined by your map of reality and your beliefs. So what you choose to believe to be true about the world becomes your reality tunnel. And it literally means, it just implies that when we're looking at the world, we're not seeing the world, we're not seeing a 360-degree picture of the world, we're seeing a tunnel. And the thing is with this tunnel, as with any tunnel, is it's very, very limited, and it controls what you focus on. So when you control what you focus on, you control what you're seeing. So if you're coming from a depressed reality tunnel, then you will tend to pick out things in your environment that affirm your beliefs regarding depression, that affirm depressing beliefs. If you tend to be a happy person and you live in a happy world, then your reality tunnel will be set to ignore or edit out unhappy feedback and will focus on happy feedback, things that make you feel cheerful, that make you feel upbeat, that make you feel positive. Why do you need to know about this? When you're talking to anybody in any context, especially when there is a conflict, you need to realize that they're coming from a certain reality tunnel, and that they're seeing things through a particular set of filters about reality, because we all have to filter reality. If you broke your filters on reality and reality started seeping through, you could go insane. I mean, that has been said what the experience of taking acid is like, is that your reality filters are temporarily broken open and too much information starts getting in and it's not being filtered properly, and it can be a wonderful and beautiful experience, but it can also be a terrifying and confusing experience. So understanding people's reality tunnels is important from the point of view of dealing with conflict, of having compassion for where somebody else is coming from. It's also very, very useful in therapy. Now, if you're not a therapist, you might think, well, I don't need to know about therapy. But there is somebody who you're going to have to do therapy on pretty much every day of your life, and that is you. So it's good for you to understand that you have a certain reality tunnel and that you could be wrong. Humility is incredibly useful in terms of mental health. The humility says, I might not be right in my views about reality. I don't know. So you start using the word maybe an awful lot more frequently, and you start saying the words I don't know and shrugging and smiling. I'm feeling happy about it. The problem is, the temptation is that the ego will want us to find fixed conclusions. You'll notice in any debate, in any endeavor, in any area of human thought, the human mind rushes to conclusions quickly because the conclusion makes us feel good. The ego likes it because it makes us feel like we know what reality is all about, but it actually gives you problems. It gives you a lot less flexibility, and it gives you a lot less of a sense of what is possible because you've already concluded what it is about reality that you already know. So the map becomes very, very fixed. Fixed maps tend to be a little bit rigid. You want to have quite a flexible map. I said at the beginning of the video, you can choose to believe about reality. Now, for some of you, you might not have the belief installed in your mental software that you can choose your beliefs. You might be like, no, I don't choose my beliefs. Reality is reality, and I know that what I believe about reality is absolutely true. Again, in terms of mental health, nobody should be that certain, because you've lost your humility, you've lost your sense of, well, you can't actually really know what's out there because you've only got your five senses, and your five senses are picking up less than 1% of all the information that's coming in, and that 1% that is coming in is being massively distorted, deleted and generalized, re-edited, reformulated and fed back to your brain, to your mind, to be reinterpreted. So what you get is a very, very chopped up, tiny little pieces of information about reality. You should never be too certain about anything. So the humility is a good thing, but the flexibility to be able to say, well, my beliefs are based on extremely limited experiences, so I can choose to believe that I can believe anything. And if you don't believe that, then you can choose to believe that you can believe anything. Right? So reality tunnels is all about having a sense of the fact that you're living in a certain reality tunnel, but that it's not the only reality tunnel that's available. It could be political, it could be, you live in the reality tunnel of a conservative, you live in the reality tunnel of a Republican, you live in the reality tunnel of a communist, or whatever it happens to be. But in order to keep that reality tunnel going, you have to select certain pieces of information from the environment and delete a hell of a lot in order to keep that going. This, I find, it's a particularly useful concept when I'm doing therapy, when I'm doing coaching with people, is because I like to remind people, you're choosing a reality tunnel right now. You're choosing to believe certain things are possible and certain things aren't possible. Get flexible, because outside of this little reality tunnel, there's reality. There's other options. The only options you have, I could be like, what options do you have? What, particularly when it comes down to people who are unhappy, I'm talking to people who are unhappy about something, what options do you have? And they'll be like, I've got 2, and I can't take either of them because they'll both hurt. But actually, when you get into it and you look at it and you stretch that reality tunnel, or even better, ask them to use their imagination to adopt a whole completely fresh new reality tunnel, then they'll find they have all of the different kinds of options they can go for instead. So that's reality tunnels, and I'm going to be talking about that in a couple of blogs this week. As ever, please like and comment below. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask, because I'll answer them, because that's what I do. Thank you very much.